Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Class 8, welcome back once again to your chemistry online class. Before starting the lesson, I must say once again that all of you have not submitted your notebooks. Please submit your notebooks because only 7 chemistry and 13 biology notebooks have come. Please submit all your copies, otherwise your marks will be deducted, and the students who have submitted also, the work is still incomplete. In chemistry your lesson 2 and 4 should be completed by now, and you have not done 2, or if the lesson 2 has been done, 4 has not been done, please complete your work and then submit your copy, because the next date for submission will be announced shortly. Is that clear? So the ones who have submitted can collect their copies on Friday, and the ones who have not will be given another date for submission. Now, in the last lecture I had told you about the balancing, that is how the chemical equations are balanced, and I had discussed a few equations with you, and today I'll give a few more examples and discuss them with you. Now, in this equation you can see, first of all, when you write the reactant and the product, that is a skeletal equation is given, that is example 4 in your book. Iron reacts with hydrochloric acid to form iron chloride and hydrogen. So the word equation that is given is iron plus hydrochloric acid in words, and then iron 2 chloride, 2 is given in Roman numeral, and hydrogen gas. So this is the skeletal equation that is given, right? But this is not balanced. So how can you make out, or how can you write the formula? I have told you that when a compound is formed, a positive radical and negative radical is there, and unless and until you know the formula writing, you will not be able to do the equations. Is that clear? You should be knowing the correct formula. Now, how has this come? Because iron has a valency of 2 and chlorine has a valency of 1. So the valencies are interchanged, and hence the formula is FeCl2. Now, to balance this skeletal equation, the unbalanced chemical equation is known as the skeletal equation. Now you can see that number of iron in this is, iron atoms you can see are 1, both the sides. Hydrogen is 1 on the side of the reactants, and over here it is 2, and chlorine again is 1 this side, and on the product side it is 2. Now, in order to balance the hydrogen and chlorine, what can we do? We can put 2 over here, and when we put 2 over here, of course you can rub it and then write clearly. This is the plus sign, and then HCl to HCl. Now what can you what changes will be there? Iron is 1 here, right? So when you write 2, this also becomes 2 and this also becomes 2, hence the equation becomes balanced. Now, is that clear? You can take some other examples as well. Now over here you can see that the reaction is calcium reacts with water to give you calcium hydroxide and hydrogen. Is that clear? This is the skeletal equation. Again, how this formula has been written, that calcium has a valency of +2, or you can write it as 2, and hydroxide ion has a valency or radical, this radical has a valency of 1. So valencies get interchanged, and that is how you write the formula of calcium hydroxide. Now you can see over here that the number of calcium atoms are how many? Calcium atoms are 1, hydrogen is 2, oxygen is 1, and over here calcium is 1, then oxygen is 2, and hydrogen 2 over here. This is whole twice, that means 2 of this and 2 this. 2 plus 2 means they are 4. Is it clear? So this is 4. Now you have to balance the number of hydrogen atoms. Now what do? Yes, we put what? We put a 2 again in front of water. Is that clear? So this becomes 2 to the 4, and oxygen also changes to 2 here. Is that clear? Both hydrogen and oxygen were not balanced, number was not equal, so we have equaled them by putting a 2 in front of water. So 2 to the 4 and 2 atoms of oxygen. Is it clear? So this is a balanced equation. You can take one more example. Now this is potassium. This is the symbol for potassium. Reacts with water to give you potassium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Now how do you write the formula of potassium hydroxide? That is KOH. Yes, because potassium has a valency of 1 and OH radical, again hydroxide radical has a valency of 1, so it becomes KOH. Now in order to balance it, what do? The number of potassium atoms this side are 1, hydrogen is 2 and oxygen is 1. Is it clear? And this side potassium 1, oxygen is 1 and hydrogen is 3. Is it clear? Now when we to balance it, what should we do? We can put 2 in order to balance potassium first. Is that clear? That is 2K, right? And when we put 2K, that means this, and we balance this also. It becomes 2 and this also becomes 2. Then O changes to 2 now, and hydrogen changes to oxygen remains the same this side just now, that is 1, and hydrogen also remains the same this side 2. Is that clear? But here it changes, that is now 2 oxygen, 1 here it becomes 2, and hydrogen becomes 2 over here and 2 over here, that means they become 4. Now we have to change this also. So what do? We again put 2 in front of water. That means now this has also changed. This becomes 4 and this becomes 2. Now this equation is balanced. Is it clear? You can take one more example. Again we have aluminium and water react to form aluminium oxide and hydrogen. Now over here you can see again how you have written the formula of aluminium oxide is given. The valency of oxygen is 2 and valency of aluminium is 3. So the valencies get interchanged and becomes Al2O3. So here number of aluminium atoms are how many? 1. Hydrogen is 2. Oxygen is 1. Here aluminium is 2, oxygen is 3 and hydrogen is 2. You can see that only hydrogen atoms are equal on both the sides. Now in order to balance it, what do? First we will balance aluminium. So we write 2 over here, 2 Al, that means this has also become balanced. Now we have to balance the number of oxygen atoms. Is it clear? So what do? We put a 3 over here. This becomes 3H2O. Write it a little clearly now. This becomes 3H2O, and then this becomes H2 becomes 6. and oxygen becomes 3. So please do all the balancing first with a pencil, and then later on when you have balanced it, then write with a pen. Is it clear? This becomes 3. Oxygen has become balanced, only hydrogen has not. So you have any factor which when multiplied or number multiplied by 2 gives you 6? Yes, it is 3. So you write 3 over here. 3 2s are 6. This is a balanced equation. So please learn the valencies and symbols properly so that balancing becomes easier for you. Practice this a lot. Then let's discuss the significance of a balanced chemical equation. What is the significance? What is the importance of this equation which is balanced? So number 1, it gives information about the reactants and products. We know which reactants and products are present. Is it clear? Number 2, it represents the number of molecules and atoms involved in the reaction. So you can take a very simple reaction. Is Fe gives you Fe, HCl gives you Fe, Cl2 plus H2. Now what do you know by this reaction? You know the reactants and the products, right? That when iron and hydrochloric acid react, they form iron 2 chloride and hydrogen. Yes, and it represents the number of molecules and atoms involved in the reaction. We see that 1 atom of iron reacts with 2 atoms of hydrochloric acid to give you 1 molecule of FeCl2. Is that clear? And 1 molecule of hydrogen. Here also 1 molecule of hydrochloric acid. 1 atom of iron reacts with 2 molecules of hydrochloric acid and 1 of FeCl2. What is formed? 1 atom, 1 molecule of FeCl2 and 1 molecule of hydrogen. Is it clear? So it helps us to know the amount of a particular reactant required to produce a particular product, or amount of product formed by a particular amount of reactant. So you can see this. So balanced chemical equation makes the study of chemical universally standardized. That we know that when this reaction is going to take place, then how many atoms of iron will react with hydrochloric acid, and how many ferrous chloride molecules will be formed, and how many hydrogen molecules will be formed. We know from this. Is that clear? So it is universally accepted by all the countries of the world. It is not here that this is the method or this is the chemical equation which is right over here and it is considered wrong at rest of the places. So we take another example, that is hydrogen plus oxygen gives you water. So hydrogen reacts with the oxygen to form water. We know this. We can even say that 2 hydrogen molecules and 1 oxygen molecule combine to produce 2 molecules of water. You can see this. 2 molecules of hydrogen have reacted with only 1 molecule. Nothing is written over here. That means it is only single. Is it clear? So it reacts to form 2 molecules of water. Is that clear? So total amount, we can find out the total mass of the products, and we can even find out the total mass of the reactant. So the mass of 1 hydrogen atom is 1 AMU. This reaction involves 4 hydrogen atoms. So total mass of hydrogen atom is 4 into 1 AMU. Is it clear? So you can write it like this. How? 2 into how much? So this is 2 into 2, that means 4 hydrogen atoms are involved. So 4 into 1 gives you, or 1 AMU, that is the atomic mass of hydrogen, it gives you 4 MAMU atomic mass unit. So the mass of one oxygen atom is 16. This reaction involves 2 atoms of oxygen. So total mass of oxygen atom is 2 into 16, that is equal to 32 AMU. So 4 AMU of hydrogen react with 32 AMU of oxygen to produce 36 AMU of water. How have you calculated 36 AMU? That is 4 AMU of hydrogen atom. Is that clear? Total mass of the hydrogen atoms, and 32 AMU is the total mass of the oxygen atoms. So 4 plus 32 is how much? 36 AMU. You can even verify it by calculating the total mass here. Is it clear? So limitations of chemical equation, that what are the certain things that we are not writing in a chemical equation, and chemical equation does not give an idea about those things. Those are known as the limitations of chemical equations. So we don't know the conditions under which the reaction is taking place. So a chemical equation does not provide the information about the required condition for a particular reaction. For example, whether a reaction needs heat, whether it needs light or sound energy, or whether there is a need of a catalyst. That is, what is a catalyst? A chemical substance which alters the rate of a reaction without itself undergoing any change. That is a catalyst. So this is this is one of the examples of the conditions which we don't get to know by seeing a chemical reaction or a chemical equation. Apart from this, other limitations are that the physical state of reactants and products cannot be told. We cannot make out whether they are solid, liquid, gas, aqueous, cannot make out. Then nature of reaction does not provide the information about the nature of the reaction. Whether a particular reaction is exothermic, that is, heat is being evolved, endothermic, feasible or not, whether the reaction is possible or not, or whether it is a slow reaction or a fast reaction. Is that clear? Now, in order to amend all these shortcomings, or in order to make up for this, we have made the chemical equations more informative. So we have added all these things. So we will take the example of different reactions. So these are the drawbacks or limitations of a chemical equation. So they can be made informative by making the following changes. So number one point that can make the chemical equations more informative is by writing in the equation the physical states of the reactants and products. Now how will they be mentioned in the equation? They will be mentioned just above their respective symbols or formulae in the bracket. So what do? We write the solid as small s, right, liquid as small l, and gas as small g. For instance, the reaction 2H2 plus O2 gives you, O2 gives you 2H2O. Now hydrogen and oxygen both are gases, so you write in the bracket G, small g, and water is of course a liquid, so you can mention it in the form of a small m. There are other equations that you can mention in the same manner, like for instance a reaction like magnesium and oxygen to Mg. Mg is a solid plus O2, it burns in air. This is a gas. What is formed? is 2 MgO, which is again a solid. This will be written in a single line only. Is it clear? Next is the solution prepared in water, that is aqueous solution, can be represented as aqueous any solution which has been prepared. For instance, when we the reaction is there between chemical hydroxide and carbon dioxide, then calcium hydroxide is prepared in water. Calcium is dissolved, calcium oxide is dissolved in water, and then it is calcium hydroxide is prepared. That means then carbon dioxide, which is a gas again, and then arrow. The products I am writing down because there is no space over here. CaCO3, which is a solid, and H2 is a liquid, water. Is that clear? This is how you represent them. So aqueous means prepared in water, so you just mentioned as aqueous. Is that clear? That is Ca, which voltwise, and in the bracket you write Aq. This is aqueous, and then the rest of the reaction. Then the gaseous products formed during the reaction can be represented by an upward arrow in a bracket. For example, zinc plus zinc, which is solid, small s, plus H2SO4, which is again in this reaction, that is zinc plus sulfuric acid gives you zinc sulfate, that is aqueous. You can see the various symbols that are given, that is zinc is solid and sulfuric acid is aqueous, and this zinc sulfate is again aqueous, that is dissolved in water, and H2 is hydrogen gas, and you can see this upward arrow over here like this, next to an arrow like this next to the hydrogen gas. Is that clear? Then the precipitate formed during a reaction can be represented by a downward arrow. What is a precipitate? When two aqueous solution mix together, they form an insoluble substance which settles down at the bottom of the test tube. For instance, AgNO3 and NaCl both are in aqueous form, that is in the liquid form. Now when they are in the these two aqueous form, these liquids are mixed together, they form an insoluble substance, that is a solid. It settles down at the bottom. This is known as precipitate. Is that clear? This no longer remains in the form of a liquid, but becomes a precipitate, a solid, insoluble solid. So this is known as precipitate. It settles down at the bottom, so you can be represented by a downward arrow. Is that clear? So this is the one more condition that can be there. Then apart from this, the reaction conditions like the pressure, temperature and catalyst are mentioned above and below the arrow. So you can see the reaction which takes place between nitrogen and hydrogen takes place at 450 degrees Celsius, temperature 200 atmospheric pressure, and iron and molybdenum are the catalyst. Catalyst are chemical substance which alter the rate of reaction. Then one more thing you can see is a both side arrow, half-headed arrow, that is you can see them in this form of arrow, half-headed, not the head. This is the full-headed arrow, single arrow pointing with. This is a arrow, half-headed, two arrows which point in different direction. This is the sign of a reversible reaction, a reaction which can proceed in both the direction on reversing the conditions. Is it clear? So this is what the conditions are given, and it is a reversible reaction which can be seen with the help of the which can be seen with this arrow. Next is when the reaction is exothermic. Exothermic reaction are those in which heat is evolved, and endothermic is there which heat is absorbed. So in exothermic, that heat is evolved, we put plus heat, plus and heat. You can see this, the plus of a catalyst, the symbol or formula of the catalyst is written above or below the arrow sign in equation. For example, in this reaction, the KClO3 gives you 2KCl and 3O2. Is that clear? Then the concentration of acids and bases are mentioned by using dilute for dilute and concentrated for concentrated solution. For example, in this reaction, NaCl and sulfuric acid then gives you NHSO4, which is a solid and liquid. So whether the acid is dilute or concentrated, this is mentioned in the bracket. So that is all for today. Please revise the whole chapter so that we can discuss and solve the exercise. Allah Hafiz.